Dr. Harry Manifavas. He's a senior researcher collaborator at Forth, specializing in cybersecurity, cybercrime, and digital forensics. Harry, the floor is yours. Try to be a bit...
So, hello everybody. The title of my presentation is Why QKD? So, as Ilya said, I'll try to be very brief. First, we're going to see what are the limitations of classical cryptography, and then how QKD can fix some of those limitations. First, we need to reflect a bit. What is coming? Quantum computers are coming, so I have to prepare for them. Quantum computers will be able to break some of the classical cryptography we are currently using. So we have to develop new systems that withstand this new threat. Can we afford to wait? Answer is no, because it takes a long time to implement cryptographic systems. That's why I have to act now. One more reason is that currently attackers can record and store traffic and then try to decode it in the future. Sometimes information is still valuable in the future, so that's still a perfect type of attack. QKD also allows us to detect eavesdroppers in real time, which is a nice to have situation. Today, eavesdroppers may stay inside the system for minutes, hours, weeks, and months. Classical cryptography is based on their securities of many of the algorithms that we currently use is based on the hardness of mathematical problems. So we can break the algorithm as long as we can solve a problem that's computationally infeasible these days with the technology that we have, but that's not going to be the case in the near future with quantum computers. So computational advances make those algorithms that we currently use weak. On top of that, researchers like Shor have come up with algorithms that can run on quantum computers. So he tried to figure out how such an algorithm could work on a computer that he didn't have at that time to break public key crypto systems. And this algorithm is valid. It's been out there for such a long time. So when a quantum computer is there and capable enough, it will be able to break public key crypto systems easily. So we do have these quantum algorithms already. What is QKD? QKD is basically a way to transfer encryption keys from place A to place B. These keys can later be used to encrypt information using some other algorithm. QKD offers secrecy, which means that the key cannot be revealed to any unauthorized person. Only authorized people can actually see the key. And integrity, no one can fiddle with the key bits and change the key. Sometimes, even if we don't know what is there, we can fiddle with the bits, make a few changes, and disrupt the system. QKD protects both confidentiality and integrity of those keys. Another feature, as we said, is the ability to detect eavesdropping. So A and B communicate via QKD. If some attacker tries to tap the communication channel, read the traffic in the channel, that will become apparent to A and B, and they will discard the communication and start a new one, which may not be the case in systems that we currently use. QKD solves some of the problems that we have, not all of the problems. As you can see in this box, in the figure, QKD is like the marked box. Alice and Bob authenticate themselves, using some other way, and then use the quantum channel to exchange key bits. As long as they're happy with exchange, they possess a key, the same for both of them, a shared key, and they can use a shared key to encrypt from plain text to ciphertext, and the recipient decrypt from ciphertext to plain text. Many different algorithms, symmetric key algorithms like AES or OTP, will still be valid in the future. So the algorithms that are in danger are mostly the public key algorithms. So OTP was presented, many years ago. To be able to use this algorithm correctly, we have to meet several requirements like, long key, randomness of the key. We're not supposed to reuse the key and so on. So these requirements were too strict for today's systems. That's why it's not used in practice. But it was giving a new life now with QKD, because QKD can generate random keys that can only be used once and can be as long as we would like it to be. So QKD can, among others, use OTP after the key exchange. I mean, QKD users can use OTP after the key exchange. Now, QKD is different from quantum computing and post-quantum cryptography. So quantum computing is like a quantum computer that can run quantum algorithms. Quantum algorithms manipulate qubits, quantum bits. So usually we have information, we encode it into bits, classical bits, 0, 1, and then those bits can be converted to qubits. Qubits have special properties. That's why the quantum algorithms are more capable than classical algorithms, because they take advantage of qubit properties. So this is what a quantum computer do, right? Quantum computations using qubits and quantum algorithms. Post-quantum cryptography, again, is a different thing. As we said before, public key crypto systems won't be safe in the future. We have to prepare now, and that is why we need to create new algorithms. So, post-quantum cryptography, we will be discussing this in more detail tomorrow, has already come up with certain algorithms that are also based on mathematical problems, but these problems are strong enough and cannot be cracked by either classical computer or a quantum computer. PQC is an alternative to QKD, or they can work together. So QKD appeared in the early 80s because at that time people thought, okay, the algorithms that we have now are good enough, but what is going to happen in the future? So they started, wondering. In 1984, 40 years ago, two researchers came up with, the first protocol. This protocol converts, let's say, bits to qubits, and then transmits the bits from place A to place B in a secure way, using quantum mechanical principles. And as we've already mentioned, if there is an eavesdropper, this can be detected, the transmission stopped and restarted. More recently, we've seen experimental implementations in labs and practical realization. Even more recently, we have now commercial QKD products and pilot networks. Right? So EuroQCI, is what is the current state of the art in Europe at the moment. It's like a pilot network bringing together all European countries who utilize this infrastructure. Use cases. QKD is expensive, difficult to manipulate at the moment. So at the moment only addresses niche markets like high security applications. Those applications could be in the financial sector, high value transactions, government and defense, military and diplomatic communications, critical infrastructure, because they are becoming targets for cyber criminals. We need to protect the information there, the exchange of information. Healthcare, telemedicine, telehealth, and so on. Some notable implementations. As you can see, there is a link. There are links everywhere, so you can just go click on that link and read more about this. So initially we had some metropolitan area networks, then some commercial QKD networks. In Tokyo they have something that is still going on. In 2016, China launched the first quantum communication satellite. I believe you've already realized that it's difficult to establish fiber optic lines to exchange keys and so on because of the distance and other limitations. So satellites could be part of the solution. And the Chinese were the first to launch such a satellite. Now, what are the challenges of QKD? Distance. If we use, let's say, photons, so we have classical bits, convert them to photons, which behave like qubits, but they have nice properties, but they can go only, as far, right? If we want them to go much further, there is a problem. We have to tune the equipment. One way to solve this problem is by creating quantum repeaters. It's still, active research and a technical challenge. So a repeater, what does it do? It gets the signal, amplifies the signal, and then forwards the signal. I mean, in traditional infrastructures, that's easy to do. We know how to, copy bits, amplify the signal, and forward the signal further. So quantum repeaters are supposedly, doing this with qubits. Remember, any device that sits in between A and B is treated as an eavesdropper. So if we just put, a simple repeater in between, the transmission will, be cancelled. So that is why we need a special type of repeater. Some other challenges: high initial cost because we need specialized equipment, secure apparatus that does not leak information, and dedicated communication links. It takes time to deploy, dig, and install the line and so on. Also, it's not straightforward how to integrate QKD with existing infrastructures, which is important because we want something like a seamless way forward. And this is going to cost money. We need to build interfaces to make that possible. The rate of key generation. Currently, QKD generates keys initially at a slow rate. That was not good enough because you have to encrypt information in real time in gigabits per second. That's not there at the moment, but we're getting there. Scalability. 2 nodes, it's easy. More nodes, it's not as easy as it looks. Standardization, again, that is important because if we standardize things, all players play by the same rules, so devices manufactured by different vendors can interoperate. And that is important because it brings costs down and makes life easier. Obviously, we have to follow regulations and compliance. At the end of the day, laws come into play, and we have to abide by directives and European-wide acts and so on. So QKD is not immune to attacks. The protocol is nice, but the implementation of the protocol is not always correct, and this has been proven in the past. We had, for example, attacks against commercial QKD systems. You can see a number of attacks there. So each attack, took its name after it attacked, a specific device. The idea is that we need to really learn all the lessons from the past and, try to learn new lessons as fast as possible to be able to implement correctly QKD. So traditional infrastructures have received lots of attention, and we, let's say, know how to fix things. You're aware that's not the case because cybersecurity is in the news every day. We have to do the same for QKD. This is another list. I'm not going to discuss this list. I'll just, stay at the bottom 2 lines. So sometimes when QKD is advertised, you hear something like, it's based on the laws of physics, which is more or less true, right? But in practice, QKD security it depends on the implementation. So to get closer to our vision, we have to, as we said, implement quantum repeaters, satellite-based QKD, high-speed and efficient QKD systems, and be able to integrate those QKD systems with the rest of our infrastructure. A longer-term vision is the quantum internet, where we communicate via qubits, and this gives rise to new innovative applications like distributed quantum computing. We have quantum computers cooperating to solve one particular problem. Quantum cloud computing, like cloud today, but the cloud is quantum. Quantum teleportation due to entanglement, qubits two qubits may have a relationship between them, so we don't really have to physically transport a qubit from A to B. We can just change the state of a qubit, and immediately, instantly, the state of some other qubit elsewhere will change. So this is like instant communication. Ongoing research in all those areas. To conclude, why QKD? Because it has certain advantages over classical cryptography, unconditional security. We don't depend on computational security, right? Eavesdropping detection in real time, forward secrecy. If, let's say, a key gets compromised, then all communications encrypted using that key will be compromised, past communications. But if we use a new key every time, that's not going to happen. If a key gets compromised, only one particular communication will get compromised. So QKD is about transferring keys, PQC is about transferring keys, and a number of other services we will be discussing tomorrow. So QKD is partly an alternative. We do need an alternative because PQC, as we said, is again based on math, and we've experienced in the past attacks against PQC algorithms. So we do need QKD. All right. So QKD is not just another technology. It's not a lab story. It's a strategic necessity for governments, businesses, and organizations. It gives those who use it some competitive advantage in the cybersecurity arena. And some geopolitical factors also come into play. There are policy and political considerations. Why do it, when, who else is doing it, and so on. There are some strong proponents and some skeptical parties. One of the strong proponents is the European Union. The EU would like, to achieve something like digital sovereignty. So we need to be able to build the stuff that we need to keep our, area secure. That's why there are several initiatives. EuroQCI is one of those initiatives. 2019 started in 2013, the implementation phase. Eagle-1 is like a satellite for QKD. It was supposed to be launched this year, but got postponed. Launch is 25 or 26. Other strong proponents, China, Japan, US, and the UK are a bit more skeptical because they think PQC is better value for money. The current trend is a balanced approach between that includes both QKD and PQC, and all partners, either like it or not, continue to invest in QKD to overcome the limitations we just mentioned. That's all, I think. A list of references. Thank you.